if you were good at ranging people, you would be a bigger winner than you are. This is the first step to humility, and it's something that I've been working with my other private guys with, is that going back to the question before, like, do you see your students slipping back into old patterns? Yeah, and when I see it, I make it very clear that, like, if you're going to go back and start paying tribute to your old ranging habits, in other words, believing that they're more valuable than what you've understood to be the more inclusive mass database intelligence, um, then what you're doing basically is flying in the face of something that is much more balanced and less assumptive than your belief system. So what I say at that point is, do you have you had enough yet, basically? Have you had enough yet of proving it to yourself that your ranging skills, for whatever reason, are inaccurate? And either the student will say, yes, I have, and I want to approach the 30-second training or the thought process training at a higher intensity of humility, or they'll say, I'm not sure if I have yet, and I need time to think about it, in which case I'll basically send them on a 3-day integration period or whatever, where they spend time clarifying if they really have had it with their current paradigm. Because this is the thing, um, if you're showing up to lessons in a passive sense, just to be told over and over again how you should think about something, but then every time that you're put on the spot in terms of, now it's your turn, student, please tell me what your thought process analysis is here, and go ahead, start now. And every time he defaults back into his old way instead of doing it the way that we've been learning, that shows a certain stubbornness or a certain confusion where he hasn't actually fully seen that there's more benefit in doing it the mass database way than the ranging way. So until there's that recognition that he's ready to surrender that completely because he sees it doesn't give him as much as he thought it gave him, there's no purpose to us continuing to meet and run hands. So I'm very clear on that point, because guys are paying for lessons, and if I think that they're just enabling their own laziness, that's where I sort of like draw the line and say, okay, go integrate this so we can move to the next level. You have everything you need. You have, the 2 or 3 previous lessons where we marked 15 to 20 hands and gave really sound thought process on what you should be thinking. Go back through those and make sure that you can analyze all of them effortlessly, and then we'll move on. But if you're not bringing that intensity to your training exercise, you're never going to get to that level where you break the pattern of going to your old ranging tendencies, instead of the mass database stuff. What you want is to be able to hit the point where you can pull that override and start using mass database analysis as your best friend. Dimitri said, to be honest, I folded because I felt that the hand was very weak. I'm not good at ranging people. Yeah, well, that's a form of ranging, though. If you want to say the hand is weak, you're already saying relative to something. It might not be conscious, but in order for you to believe that the hand is weak on the river, there must be some relative comparison. Just like in order for us to have a sense of distance in space, there has to be 2 points. If there's only 1 point in space, then space doesn't actually exist. It's infinite. Um, Kind of a weird comparison, but I think it's a good point that, like, in order for you to have an idea of how strong your range is relative to something else, there has to be a something else somewhere in your mind at an unconscious level. So whether that is unconsciously that you think that he's just going to have an overpair here and that's why the range is weak, that's why your hand is weak, realize there's a certain ranging going on there.